So apparently there's a growing tension inside the Toyota camp after a chaotic New Hampshire race. Team Penske walked away with pride as Ryan Blaney scored his third win of the year, while Toyota teams left with confusion after two teammates tangled and none cracked the top five. Across the field there were strong rallies, wasted chances, and playoff tension rising higher with every lap. To understand how it all happened, it's important to look at the numbers and the individual performances that shaped this event. Ryan Blaney was the star. This was his third win of 2025, all on completely different tracks. Earlier in the summer, he had taken a victory on the 1.33-mile concrete Nashville Superspeedway. A few weeks back, he captured Daytona, a 2.5-mile drafting track where survival often matters more than outright speed. Now he had conquered New Hampshire, a 1.058-mile flat oval where handling and tire management rule. Winning on three tracks with such different styles showed his versatility. Few drivers can adjust so smoothly from superspeedways to short tracks. Blaney's season numbers also tell the story. In his last 10 starts, he had 9 finishes inside the top 10. 2 of those were wins, and his average finish was 5.6. The only race he didn't place inside the top 10 was due to a crash that wasn't his fault. That kind of consistency is rare in the Cup Series, especially in the unpredictable playoff format, where one mistake can erase months of progress. Despite suffering 7 DNFs in the first 26 races, mostly caused by bad luck or being caught in someone else's mess, Blaney has built momentum at exactly the right time. His race in New Hampshire was a study in patience. In the middle stages, he briefly lost track position when his team chose 4 tires while others gambled on 2. Instead of forcing risky moves, he slowly worked forward. Lap by lap, corner by corner, Blaney picked off cars until he was back in the top 5. When it mattered most, his number 12 Ford had the speed to pounce. That's a sign of a championship caliber team. No panic, no errors, just steady execution. Joey Logano, Blaney's Penske teammate, also delivered. He started on the pole, led the most laps, and scored 19 stage points, the most of any driver. That helped him to finish 4th overall and gain critical ground in the playoff standings. Coming into this race, Logano was below the cut line. Leaving New Hampshire, he had built a decent cushion. This was his 3rd straight top 5, all on shorter tracks, which are his strength. In fact, Logano had tested this exact tire package at New Hampshire back in July, so it wasn't surprising that his car was sharp all day. The contrast came from Penske's 3rd driver, Austin Cindric. While Blaney and Logano ran inside the top 5, Cindric floundered around 17th. His qualifying run was ruined after getting sideways in turn 4, forcing him to start deep in the field. During the race, he tried a 2-tire strategy, hoping to gain track position, but instead quickly dropped outside the top 10. At the checkered flag, he was buried in 17th place, far from competitive. This wasn't even the first time. 2 weeks earlier at Gateway, another short flat oval, Cindric had also been uncompetitive while his teammates shined. For a team that prides itself on technical strength, finishing nearly 15 spots behind teammates on the same setup was unacceptable. Josh Berry nearly stole the spotlight from all of them. Driving for the Wood brothers, he spun early in Stage 2 after contact with Shane Van Gisbergen. At that point, he looked headed for another disappointing finish, just like the opening playoff round, where his team had gone 3 straight races finishing last. But Berry refused to quit. He climbed from the back, lap after lap, and with around 50 laps left to go, he found himself racing Blaney for the lead. His car was quick on equal tires and maybe even a touch faster than the 12. Berry's big gamble came during the final cycle. His crew decided to not pit for fresh tires, leaving him with rubber 12 laps older than Blaney's. At first it worked. He held the lead, fought hard, and made Blaney earn every inch. But as the laps wound down, his tires lost grip. With fewer than 10 laps to go, Blaney powered past and Berry had to settle for second. Even so, finishing runner-up after nearly spinning out earlier was a huge rebound. It showed that the Wood brothers could run with the best when luck didn't crush them. But Toyota's struggles were one of the biggest talking points. Denny Hamlin, who is usually a contender at almost any track, was only a borderline top 10 car. He finished 12th, which is far below his usual standard. Christopher Bell did a little better by scoring 5 stage points and finishing in the top 10, but even then he was far from dominant. Things were worse for 23XI Racing, the Toyota satellite team. Tyler Reddick, who many thought would be a top 5 car, finished 21st. Bubba Wallace had an even tougher time, ending up 26th. Reddick battled brake issues, and Wallace was simply off pace. In one round, Bubba had earned more stage points than anyone, yet here he left with almost nothing. That swing from the top 10 finishes to running outside the top 20 raised big questions for the Toyota camp. The biggest drama of the race came in Stage 2. Ty Gibbs was battling hard for 11th place against his own teammates Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell. Hamlin asked over the radio multiple times for Gibbs to cut him a break. Ty did not move aside and kept racing hard. On lap 155, Hamlin lost patience and bumped Gibbs, spinning him out. Gibbs hit the wall and his day went downhill. He lost 9 laps during repairs, later bent a toe link and ended up with a DNF. His rookie-like mistake was not the problem here. Rather, Hamlin's choice to wreck his own teammate while racing for 11th less than halfway through the event. Afterward, Hamlin shouted over the radio asking what Gibbs was doing. This was awkward because Gibbs is the grandson of team owner Joe Gibbs. After the race, Hamlin was seen in an animated conversation with Coach Gibbs on pit road. Both Hamlin and Ty avoided answering questions in the media center, which only fueled speculation. The team now has to settle this issue in meetings before Kansas. Hamlin has 2 years left on his contract, and Ty Gibbs is expected to be on the team for many years, so they must rebuild trust soon. The playoff picture has changed as well. Joey Logano was the other big winner of the day besides Blaney. He came in 2 points below the cut line and left with a cushion of plus 24. That's a 26-point swing in one race. Still, one bad result at Kansas could erase that advantage. Chase Elliott left with plus 14 while Chase Briscoe had plus 12. Briscoe's case was interesting. In the round of 16, he scored a first, second, and ninth. At New Hampshire, though, he was only barely inside the top 10 and earned few stage points. With just one win in the regular season, his playoff points are low, leaving him vulnerable. Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, and the 23XI drivers all sit below the cut line as of now. Chastain, who tested tires here in July, was only a borderline top 10 car and finished outside. Cindric's poor performance has been well documented all season, and this was more the same. For Reddick and Wallace, Kansas is the next big chance. Both have wins at that track in past seasons, so they need near-perfect races to recover. Now, before you leave, don't forget to give this video a like, smash that subscribe button, and also ring that notification bell while you're down there.